it me again, and I am here, and this is another Twig video, or This Week in Gaming. This week, I bring to you 4 games. Ark Survival Ascended, the second one, which is better because they reskinned everything and made like some quality of life, but not all of the quality of life that everyone would have liked to see. And so I have to get over my fear of Therizino dinosaurs again and get back into that kind of grind mindset. I told myself, like I tell myself every playthrough that I do on Ark, and I usually play on the island because it's just so familiar, I guess, comfortable. But I always tell myself I'm gonna do just raw vanilla, right out of the box settings, and not worry about it. But I'm already sick of it, so I'm gonna have to decide what mods to get and what to tweak. Definitely XP and, well, maybe XP a little bit. Definitely resources, because default resource sucks. I also bring you some more Turtle Wow. That is still scratching the itch. And then I did like some Noida multiplayer, which is a mod with a friend of mine, and then some Risk of Rain 2, which is another thing that has kind of just appeared on my recent plays on Steam. But for today, I just want to... Oh, I don't know. I'm very tired. Very tired. I've been working on cutting back my caffeine, and switching from like mainly coffee to mainly tea to hopefully mainly nothing. And boy, is it difficult. It is hard. I mean, it really is. Like, I don't want to say it's, like akin to other addictions, like serious addictions, but you really can get addicted to it. And I think especially towards the end of my last job, I was just really addicted to it because it's the only thing kind of keeping me going. The only thing like motivating me to finish the day was the free coffee and the fact that I could have as much as I wanted to kind of put up with all of the stressors there. And that's not the only reason that I became kind of just a little bit too reliant on it. But it certainly didn't help. And so switching to tea, which is like a little bit more of a natural, not natural, but a little bit more of a gradient, if you will. If, coffee is kind of like a stiff up, stiff down, anybody who drinks coffee, and tea is more of like a nice parabolic movement, at least depending on what you drink. I started off with like ruby oolong, which again any tea drinkers would know is like almost as bad as coffee. It has a lot of caffeine in it, a lot of caffeine. But it's the thought that counts, and it's the effort of kind of getting in the ritual of having tea instead of coffee. And I think that's kind of the message that I want to bring today, is just like, how do you start a new ritual, a new routine, a new regimen to change things? Because no matter who you are, there are things in your life that I guarantee you want to change. Whether or not you can, I can't tell you, but the things that you can change when you decide, well, not decide, but when you are finally set on what you can and cannot change, and know that, yes, I can change this. How the hell do you even start? Because especially for like big things, it's like, yeah, I've lived my whole life on this earth doing this way, or thinking this way, or only framing problems with these kinds of solutions. And while it may have worked for you thus far, that doesn't mean it's necessarily ideal. And I think that's a whole nother topic, is finding out when it isn't ideal. But when you do make that decision, and I've made it about caffeine recently, I made it about like some cleanliness things around the house, just maintaining ADLs recently. And I've made it about, just, I don't know, choosing certain happiness over certain, over pride. Choosing kind of happiness over pride at times as well. And like I said, I had lived my whole, all of these changes have been within the last year, really, kind of actively thinking about changing them and working with my therapist and working with, my support system to actually change for the better. And once I decided these are the things that I'm going to change on, it's like, okay, well, that's great, but I have 25 years of experience not doing that or doing it a different way. And it's like, how do you even begin to tackle something that you're so good at, if you will? Good at doing it the quote-unquote wrong way, or the ineffective way, or the way that you don't want to do anymore. And I think it harkens back to the old saying, or the old, I don't even know what it is, but how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time, right? It's one little friggin' thing at a time, and I say friggin' with such exasperation, because it is exhausting to just take everything day by day, take everything a step by step. And it's so hard, at least for me, to not want to think long term and not want to make large changes and be like, yes, intellectually I understand the problem, so I should just therefore be able to solve the problem. Nope, wrong. You gotta retrain your brain, because ultimately we are very instinctual and creatures of habit. And if those habits, old habits die hard, to use another phrase. Man, I sound like my grandfather or something. But yeah, let me give you an example of something. Well, I've already given you an example with tea, but let me give you another example of kind of these baby steps to making changes. Because as much as it'd be great to just be like, I'm better now, it's not always how it's gonna work out, and it's not always possible. So another thing I've been working on, at the behest of much of my support system that has helped me over the years, cleaning. Because I was just, when I was very depressed and kind of going several hospitalizations for different things, self-care is the first thing to go. ADLs is the first thing to go for me. And it kind of reflects my state of being. And so, yeah, just having the discipline, having the, I'm just gonna keep saying it, the routine and the habit of cleaning things and doing the dishes, doing the laundry, vacuuming, cleaning the bathroom, cleaning the kitchen, just little things here and there really start to add up. Because, I know that when I was depressed, little bad things would start to add up. I would have a hard week, and one habit that I had worked so hard on would die. And it'd just be like, oh, well, I had a hard week, so what the hell? It's not a huge deal. And then, you have another hard week, maybe even a month later, and it's like another good habit would die. And it's just like, okay, still not a huge deal, and so on. And it would just add up, one little hard bad time at a time. And as annoying as that can be, that happens, and that little things fall off one thing at a time, so too can good things. Obviously the good things are a little bit harder to make happen, just because naturally, I'm gonna use another cliche. If good, I can't even formulate the cliche, but like good things are worth nothing. If it was easy, everyone would do it, I guess, is the cliche. So what I'm trying to say is, just as you can have a bad week and lose a habit, so too are you allowed, is it possible to have a good week, good day, good hour of hyperfixation, and pick up a good habit? And that's what I've been doing with cleaning, especially, is that, even if it's, I'll feel restless, and I'll just, maybe I'll have had too much ruby oolong tea because I'm quote unquote cutting back on caffeine, and I'll be like, you know what, I can't just sit still and watch a movie, can't sit still at the computer, can't go to bed. I'm gonna clean. I want to be productive, and so I do dishes or laundry. And part of making these small changes is allowing them to be small. It's so hard, like I said, to just not be like, I want to do it all right now. I want to do it all. And see these huge changes and be this better person and live up to my brain's expectations of what needs to happen. And it's hard, at least for me, to be like, you know what, all I need to do is the dishes. All I need to do is one load of laundry. And I think a technique, it's utterly simple, but my therapist turned me on to it. Just set a timer for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And be like, when that timer goes off, I don't have to clean anymore. But while that timer's on, god damn it, I'm cleaning, motherfucker. And, you would be surprised how locked in you can get into cleaning in 5 minutes when you set achievable goals like that. I just need to do one load of laundry. Oh, but I really like that feeling of productivity and achievement that I got after doing that load of laundry. I'm going to do the dishes now too, bitch. And so on. Or not so on. I'm not saying it's going to happen every time, but like I said, just start small and give yourself credit for the small things. Because that is how you make large change over time, is setting these habits. And these habits may not last forever. They may not last very long at all. But every little bit counts. And the more you achieve, the easier it's going to seem. Just like how we can sometimes, I know I got bogged down into, nothing is ever going to go my way. Nothing is, I'm just bound to fail because I'm depressed, because I'm, and that's not untrue, but it is also true for good things. and that's the balance. That's the the balance of the force to you know, within good, the yin yang, to use another less mainstream media, more traditional wisdom. You know, within the good there is bad, and within the bad there is good, and it all balances out in the end. So yeah, kind of lost it there at the end, but I think I got my point across. And now I'd like to talk about video games. Risk of Rain 2, really, really fun. I had this game in my library, played it for like 50 minutes with my brother one time, and just like never had the urge to pick it up again. Didn't hate it, but wasn't, didn't even uninstall it, which usually is like the sign it's like never playing this ever again. I should have refunded it. But didn't even uninstall it and just suddenly within the last week, I got a couple of friends that are like, yeah, let's play Risk of Rain 2. Never played the first one, watched some of the first one, watched like streams of the first one. Second one, not bad. Not bad. I really like the robot character. I don't think I have any of the robot character. And I know there's multiple robots, but the tank one with the nail gun, I have no idea. His name is like X something. But he's a lot more fun than the Huntress, which I'm playing here, in my opinion. And I don't even have most of the characters unlocked. Haven't even beaten the game. Only have like 6 hours of gameplay at this point, which is more like 5 hours, because of that first 50 minutes was like, and really enjoying it, and just having, it's better with friends. It's better with friends, but I also needed friends to motivate me to play it alone. The Noida mod is very interesting as well. You can configure. First of all, you can change your cloak color and everything, like in the level launcher, which is badass. Secondly, I really like the revive mechanic in that, which is when your co-op partner dies, they lose control of their character. Their character gets taken over by, an AI, enemy AI. They keep all of their wands and spells and powers, and they fight you, and you have to kill them to revive them. You have to kill the evil them to revive the living them with, like, half HP. And it was really cool. Yeah. And Noida is another thing that is just like I gotta be in the mood for. Like that Terraria-esque dungeoneering mood. Like, I wish I could get locked into Terraria like I used to. And maybe I will. Maybe I'll hyperfixate it on it one of these weeks. But for now, it's just like, oh my god, where do I even begin with Terraria? It's like starting a new Minecraft world, which I tried on this channel and not necessarily have given up on. But just haven't been scratching that itch to like play on the Minecraft world. So yeah. Turtle WoW. I have a lot more footage of Turtle WoW. And I just finished Dark Shore, the Night Elf area, and I'm gonna move to Red Ridge. So expect a little bit more Dusk Shore, Night Elf area footage, and then lots of Red Ridge, because that game continues to scratch the itch for whatever reason. Yeah. And so, in conclusion for today's little video, hopefully expect some AD&D 2nd Edition soon, because I've been working very hard on learning that whole system so that I can actually start to teach that whole system. And Turtle WoW, definitely. Anything else? To be decided. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know that I did. Thank you for watching.